Premier is gone.
Yes, the coward has already fled. The USSR is at death's door, comrade.
Which is why we must hurry. Sir, I beg you, please.
What is this? Some sort of escape route?
No, sir. 12 months ago, I was put in charge of a top-secret project.
Whatever it is too late.
With respect, General, you are wrong. Please. For you see, sir, time is on our side.
No, it isn't ready. It hasn't been tested. We don't even know if it works.
If what works?
My time machine.
Prepare these coordinates.
No, please.
Now!
Sir, no, please, no. Please, hurry.
Get in!
All right.
You cannot be serious.
Come, Comrade General. A new world order awaits. Come!
No, touch nothing. We mustn't do anything to disrupt space-time continuum.
Where are we?
Brussels, 1927.
1927.
The Solvay International Physics Conference.
Is that Einstein?
Yes, Doctor. The man most responsible for our enemy's technological superiority. The man who made them invincible.
What do you plan to do?
Gentlemen?
Doctor!
I do not understand.
We have altered the past and changed the present.
Ah, good to see you, sir. I have the reports from the front that you requested.
Thank you. What do you have for me?
I'm sorry, Comrade General. I meant Premier Cherdenko. Sir, the Allies are on the run soon. Western Europe will be ours.
You hear that, General? Our enemies have been defeated.
Hold on, sir. I'm receiving an emergency transmission from our northern base.
They're attacking! There are too many! We have to evacuate!
Who is attacking?
The Imperial war machine has been unleashed. Do not struggle against what is inevitable. All who stand in the way of our divine destiny will be swept away by the march of history. You will bow before us, or you will cease to exist.
Sir, it appears that the Empire has mounted a full-scale assault.
What empire?
The Empire of the Rising Sun, of course.
We now have two mortal enemies?
We must unleash our nuclear weapons. Annihilate them all.
Excuse me, General?
Our nuclear weapons? Our atomic bombs?
Don't you understand? Without Einstein, there is no nuclear weapons because we have altered the space-time continuum. Oh, who knows what nightmares we have created.
Oi, welcome to Command and Conquer Red Alert 3. I'm an Allied Guardian tank, and these prats and I are here to tell you about how we think you should be doing your job. Sir.
Yes, we have temporarily called a truce to make sure you do not send us to our deaths needlessly. To begin with, we will tell you how to move your viewpoint around the battlefield and how to command your units, including the best ones, such as me, the Soviet hammer tank. Just look at this body compared with the teeny little Japanese tank to my left.
Shut up!
Ow!
Please excuse him, sir. Let us begin.
God, blimey. Right, okay. To move your camera around the battlefield, just hold down the right mouse button and slide your mouse around.
Try moving your camera now.
You may also move your cursor to the far edges of the screen.
Easy enough. Now, to rotate the camera, hold down the middle mouse button and move the mouse around.
Try rotating your camera now.
To zoom the camera in and out, simply slide your mouse wheel.
Try zooming your camera now.
As you go about fussing with the camera, sir, remember you can always click the middle mouse button to reset the viewing angle.
My goodness, Commander. You have completed your first objective.
Right proper you have. Objectives, as you might have surmised, are special goals you need to accomplish in order to progress through the campaigns.
In general, objectives will be labeled using special markers out on the battlefield. Follow the on-screen indicators to get to them.
If at any time you're not sure what the blazes you're supposed to be doing, hit the escape key to pay a visit to the mission menu. It'll list all your current objectives.
Good. Now that you have an idea for how to move around the battlefield, let's move on to controlling your units. Here come some of our hated enemies now.
Right, to select a unit, just left-click on it.
Try selecting one of these allied peacekeepers.
Nice! He's definitely one of ours, sir.
You may also hold down the left mouse button and drag your mouse. This will create a selection box. Any units inside the selection box will be selected. And if you want more units added to your selection, hold down the shift key and drag a selection box around those units. Okay, now that we've reminded you how to select units, you'll need to move them around the battlefield. Ow!
I was getting to that. To move your units, whilst having them selected, click the right mouse button on any open terrain.
Try moving your units to the designated area up ahead.
On point.
See? They obey you without question.
Notice, Commander, how the darkened area of the battlefield revealed itself as your forces drew near. This darkened area is the fog of war and represents parts of the battlefield that may be hiding enemy troop movements. Be careful when venturing into unseen areas, and use your scouts to survey the terrain before committing your forces. Now, up ahead are some dummy targets that you are going to destroy. They resemble real-life Soviet conscripts, but I assure you they are merely robots we created for this exercise. See how foolishly they behave?
They seem so real. Observe that you can distinguish your forces from the robots based on the colored blips in the radar in the upper right corner of your battlefield control display. The color of the blips refers to the color of the different sides involved in a battle.
If you encounter different colored blips as you clear the fog of war, those are likely enemy forces, so be prepared.
Right. So, to issue an attack order to your units, whilst having them selected, put your cursor over a target and click the right mouse button.
Notice that as you move your mouse cursor over those dummies, it changes to an attack cursor.
Destroy all the target dummies in the area.
He's going down. I got him. Consider it done.
So long, you stupid robots.
Bloody robots! Now, in addition to issuing attack commands on specific targets, you can have your units move and attack any enemies along the way.
To issue an attack move command, while having your unit selected, just press the A key and right-click on any open terrain. You can issue attack move orders on the radar as well.
Now look there. We need you to lead us to that strategic point, yet many robots stand in the way. If you please, issue an attack move order to strategic point. You have the command. Lead us to victory!
Who's giving you problems?
Guardian tank.
Hammer time.
Now that's a fine job you did there, Commander. You now know how to move around the battlefield, as well as how to make your forces shoot their enemies dead.
Indeed. We suggest you move on to the next lesson on building a military base for further instruction on properly commanding an army.
See you there.
Why, hello again, Commander. In this lesson, you're going to get acquainted with your units and some of the abilities that make them unique. Every unit in Red Alert 3 has some sort of special ability, in addition to its primary ability. The majority of your unit's primary abilities is to attack their targets. A unit's special ability may put a nasty status effect on an enemy, switch to an alternate weapon, or even transform into an entirely different unit.
Let us go over how to use special abilities now. Select that allied cryocopter, if you please. The cryocopter's special ability is the shrink beam. With the cryocopter selected, left-click on its special ability button in the bottom right of your screen, or press the F key. Notice that the shrink beam is a targeted special ability, which means you have to left-click on a target to use it. Other types of special abilities take effect as soon as you press the ability button. Now then, use the shrink beam on my good friend the Soviet Hammer tank.
Wait, what? No way, not me again!
Size.
Melting!
As stated earlier, not all special abilities need to be targeted like the cryocopter's shrink beam. Some abilities cause units to switch weapon modes. Blimey, that tank looks like he's lost control, and all you've got is an allied hydrofoil. Its primary weapon is an anti-air cannon that won't do you any good here. However, if you use its special ability, it'll switch from its gun to the weapon jammer. Select the hydrofoil now and ready the weapon jammer by left-clicking on its special ability button or hitting the F key. Proper. Now, have your hydrofoil fire on that Soviet apocalypse tank on the shore. We'll send him away. Ah, so much for that tea party. As you can see, the apocalypse tank can no longer fire. Not so scary now, is he? So remember, even the toughest enemy units may be vulnerable to your lesser units' special abilities. Learn them all and never give up.
If you're finished with your motivational speech, perhaps we can continue? Commander, let's go over a unit whose special ability is to transform. One basic example is the MCV, though let us take a look at a more exciting case in one of the Empire of the Rising Sun's versatile Mecha Tengu units. The Mecha Tengu is an amphibious, hovering anti-infantry unit that can transform into the Jet Tengu, a flying air superiority fighter. Not only does the transform ability affect how it navigates the battlefield, it also means the unit changes from having anti-ground weapons to anti-air weapons. Select the Mecha Tengu and use its special ability.
Looking for some fun?
Impressive, no? Now, order your Jet Tengu to destroy that miserable cryocopter. Oh, and don't worry, it is merely a training robot carefully disguised to look like a real vehicle.
No robots are going to get past you, Commander. You should know there are some units at your disposal whose primary ability either isn't a weapon at all, or will change depending on what you tell it to attack. For example, each faction has its own type of engineer unit, like this swarthy fellow over here. Engineers are special units that can capture any enemy structure or neutral tech structure. Much like with moving or attacking, you can select your engineer and right-click on a capturable structure. That'll make him go after it. Look, there seems to be an oil derrick you can capture out in the water. Oil derricks are neutral tech structures that provide additional income. Go get it.
I once was professor. The Union takes what it wants.
Off he goes. Note that engineers are amphibious, so they automatically switch to a keen aquatic form when they get to water. Not all units are amphibious, of course. Notice you can issue capture commands into the fog of war, assuming the structure is still there when you get to it.
Hey, where did that engineer go anyway? Ow!
He went into the structure, you fool, and there he shall remain forever. For that is the way of the engineer.
You may have noticed that when you highlighted that enemy structure with your engineer selected, your cursor changed to a garrison cursor. That garrison cursor indicates a structure you can enter. Your basic infantry can't garrison enemy structures or neutral tech structures like the engineer can, but they can garrison civilian structures such as hotels and houses.
Fear not, for civilians have long since abandoned such structures once they heard we were coming.
When infantry garrison these structures, they receive extra protection, as the building they're in will take damage instead of the units themselves, should they come under fire. Garrisoning your units into civilian structures is a good tactic, both from an offensive and a defensive perspective. It helps to secure locations, force enemies to take an alternate path, or give your units more cover near to your base should the enemy send a force to destroy you. Now garrison that nearby structure by issuing a move order onto it whilst having some peacekeepers selected.
Tactical unit. Lock it down.
Good. They're in. And here comes trouble. As you can see, those enemy training robots fired upon the structure rather than directly at your peacekeepers. Watch out though, because each faction has ways of clearing out garrison structures.
The Allies and Empire can try rushing their peacekeepers or Imperial warriors into a garrison structure, while the Soviet conscripts can use their Molotov cocktails.
Of course, you could just blow the structures up if you cannot be bothered by such details.
Now, let's say you need to get your peacekeepers out of the structure. Just select the structure and use the evacuate command, just like using a special ability on a unit. Do this now. Some of your units can also be garrisoned by your infantry. The multi-gunner IFV is a unique allied vehicle whose weapon takes on the characteristics of whichever infantry unit hops inside. Order one of your peacekeepers into that IFV and watch what happens.
Scanning perimeter.
If I may, normally the IFV's weapon works best against aircraft. But once you garrisoned your peacekeeper into it, it changed into an anti-infantry weapon. While the IFV can only contain one infantry unit at a time, other vehicles can hold more, and can transport your infantry around the battlefield. For example, the Riptide ACV is admittedly a good transport for getting infantry quickly and safely from one point to another, although infantry cannot fire out of it. Garrison your remaining infantry into the Riptide now.
Peacekeeper, ready for contact.
Now that they're garrisoned, let's move your Riptide across this lake and over to the shore on the other side. Look for the marker on the radar.
Engine's running. Sounds all right.
Riptides are a special type of unit in that they're amphibious, meaning they can traverse both land and water. As my comrade said, not all units are amphibious, so it's good to make note of the ones that are. Some units behave differently on land and water. For instance, when your Riptide is on water, its torpedo tubes open to give it additional firepower. Now that you've made it to the other side, let's get those peacekeepers out. All transports have the not-so-special ability to evacuate their passengers. Use the evacuate ability now.
Step right up.
Finally, let us discuss contextual attacks. A contextual attack is what you get when your cursor changes to something other than a normal attack cursor. Select the allied commander who has showed up so very unexpectedly.
Tanya here, ready to go.
This Agent Tanya has different ways of attacking targets depending on the type of target. When you order her to attack enemy infantry, such as these lifelike robots, your cursor will be that of a normal attack cursor. However, when you highlight an enemy vehicle or structure, you get a demolition cursor. When ordered to demolish a target, Tanya will move very close to the target, set some charges, and blow it up. This is an example of a contextual attack. Go ahead and dispose of those forces using the commando.
All mine. No problem. Making way. Say goodbye. Dirt naps all around. Don't blink.
Other units, such as our allied spies like this one here, also have contextual attacks. Select the spy, then use his contextual attack on one of those enemy training dummies. Now who's the dummy, am I right? As you can see, the spy's primary ability is to disguise himself as the enemy. Alternatively, if you highlight an enemy structure, you can try to infiltrate it to disrupt the enemy's base.
Infiltration has different effects depending on which type of structure is infiltrated. Experiment with all the possibilities. Incidentally, the Empire of the Rising Sun Shinobi unit may also infiltrate structures. Only the tactless Soviets lack an infiltrator.
Oh! But why?
Come on, lads, we have to get through this. Commander, that's the end of this lesson. See you in the next one. Finally, the last lesson. Feels good to be almost finished, eh, Commander? Let's get started. In this lesson, you'll learn how to work with your co-commander to help achieve victory on the battlefield. You'll be working with a co-commander throughout the campaigns in Red Alert 3. You can fight alongside a friend, or if you don't have any friends, the game will provide one for you. No matter which campaign you're playing, your co-commander's forces will always be green. In general, you can expect your co-commander to do a halfway decent job of fending for him or herself or helping you out. But just in case, we've set up a handy-dandy interface for you to issue specific directives to your partner. In the upper left hand of your screen is the co-commander monitor. Unfortunately, this won't let you control your real friends, but it's useful when fighting alongside one of the game's co-commanders.
Now, let's go over all the functions. First and foremost, there's a handsome image of your co-commander to remind you who you're fighting alongside. For this tutorial, you'll be fighting alongside the fresh-faced Soviet Commander Oleg.
Commander, Comrade Oleg here. I trust you are enjoying the banality of this training lesson. Hurry up and learn what you need to, so we can get to the real thing.
Right next to his portrait are the various directives you can issue. Basically, you can boss him around. The first is take position, which causes your co-commander to immediately send his available forces to a target location. To issue this directive, select the Take Position button. Then move your cursor over the battlefield and left-click again in the target area. Go ahead, please.
New objective received.
All right, let's get moving.
Good. Notice how Oleg promptly responded by sending his forces to the position you requested.
Now, the next directive is Strike Target. This directive makes your co-commander immediately send available forces to destroy that target, and anything nearby. Much like last time, to issue a Strike Target directive, you must first select the button, then move your cursor over an enemy and left-click on it. Issue a Strike Target directive on that enemy boot camp.
New objective received.
I got this one.
objective complete.
That is how we do it in Russia. Notice how Oleg immediately responded with his forces. Another option is to use the Plan Attack Directive. This directive makes your co-commander build a good-sized force to eliminate any enemy units in the target area, as well as any enemies encountered along the way. As with the others, to issue a Plan Attack Directive, just select the button, then select a target enemy or location on the battlefield. Go ahead and use Plan Attack on the other side of that valley.
Anytime, boss.
Our ally is under attack.
See that? Your co-commander's always got your back, Commander. Lastly, let's go over the Keep Command Directive. This one makes your co-commander fend for him or herself, and he or she will always do so by default. Unlike the other directives, this one does not require you to select a target, and may be used to cancel the other directives. To issue this directive, simply select the Keep Command button.
Now then, we have one final type of directive to review.
Enemy base detected.
During the course of some missions, you will come across what we call co-commander strikes. These are situational tactics your co-commander will use when given the signal. Notice how one has just appeared on the battlefield. Co-commander strikes may appear anywhere, anytime during a mission, and it's yours to decide how best to use them. Let us examine that co-commander strike more closely.
To give your co-commander the signal to execute the strike, select it. This brings up a window explaining the strike. To confirm the tactic, select the Execute button. Go ahead and give your co-commander the signal now.
New objective received. On that note, great job, Commander. You now have the know-how to work with your co-commander. As you can see, your co-commander can help you do some of the heavy lifting. Now get out there and knock some heads together. Go on, what are you waiting for? A fancy ending with a sappy montage? As for you, boys, the truce is off!
Finally, you jerks!
Shut up!